Hello all, welcome to Java programming from CodeBae. In this video, we'll be discussing about basic Java interview questions on object-oriented programming. First, we'll look into the questions and then later on we'll go into the answers. First question, define object-oriented paradigm. What are OOP concepts? What is a class? Define an object. Explain OOP concepts. How is encapsulation achieved in Java programming? Using which keyword inheritance is achieved in Java programming? Define JITC. Define JVM. Define JDK, JRE. Can the main method be overloaded in Java? What is the difference between heap and stack memory? How Java has achieved platform independency? Is Java 100% object-oriented programming language? What is the difference between JDK, JVM? What is the difference between path and class path? Is it must to have the main method in every class? Can we write the main method as static public void main string args or string A instead of public static void main string A or string args? The next question, class A. Can I save the above class with the file name as b.java? The last question of the session, public class A. Can I save this class as b.java? These are the 20 questions which helps you to understand in detail about the basics of Java programming and object-oriented programming. Now let's look into the solutions. Define object-oriented programming paradigm. So this is an approach which eliminates the drawbacks of conventional programming language by inheriting the best features of structured programming language and by incorporating new concepts called OOP concepts. What are OOP concepts? Class, object, polymorphism, encapsulation, data abstraction, and inheritance. These are the OOP concepts, are also called as OOP features or OOP terminology. What is a class? A class is a template or a blueprint which is used to create object. Class shares all its properties like its state and behavior with the object. State is given by the variables which are not exposed to the global world, whereas methods or behavior is given by the methods which can be exposed to the global world. So define an object. Object is an instance of a class which has unique name, state, and behavior. Explain OOP concepts. For this question, please kindly refer to the video called OOP concepts. For this, we need to explain in detail about all the features of object-oriented programming. How is encapsulation achieved in Java programming language? Encapsulation is achieved with the help of a class. So encapsulation is wrapping up of data into a single unit is called encapsulation. So that is achieved with the help of class and objects. Using which keyword inheritance is achieved? Using extends keyword inheritance is achieved in Java programming language. Define JITC. JITC stands for just in time compiler. define JVM. JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine, and this will be unique for every operating system. That is, every operating system will have a unique virtual machine. JDK stands for Java Development Kit, and JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. Can the main method in Java be overloaded? Yes, main method in Java can be overloaded. But yes, if we only write public static void main string with this syntax, this method will be implicitly called, but the rest all methods should be invoked or called by the programmer. The next one. What is the difference between heap and stack memory? So we have classes, we have local variables, instance variables, objects. So every variable, or there's a difference in the way they are allocated with the memory. The question for the answer is given in the last slide. So please refer the last slide. How Java has achieved platform independency? With the help of the .class file. .class file does not give a machine dependent code. Sorry, that is .class file does not have the machine dependent code. It has the Java bytecode or the universal bytecode. With the help of the .class file, Java has achieved platform independency. Is Java 100% object-oriented programming language? No, Java is not a 100% object-oriented programming language because it supports primitive data types. As Java supports primitive data types, we cannot call it as a 100% object-oriented programming language. What is the difference between JDK and JVM? As we know, JDK stands for Java Development Kit, which is used for developing your application, compiling the code, and it also contains Java runtime environment. But JVM has only the runtime environment. It does not have the tools. It does not support the compilation. What is the difference between path and the class path? Path and class path, they both are related to system and environmental variables. But the difference is path is used to locate or specify the executable jar files, whereas class path is to specify the location of .class files. So when we are setting the path, we set the location of JDK bin, that is the path, whereas class path is where you specify the location of your .class files. That is the difference between your path and the class path. Is it must to have the main method in every class? No, it's not must to have the main method in every class, but if you want to execute the class, then you must have the main method. If you don't have the main method in a class, then you can only compile the class, but you can't execute the class. That means I can run javac command or the javac tool on a class without the main method, but I cannot run Java tool on the class without the main method. So classes without the main method can only be compiled but not executed. Can we write the main method as static public void main? Yes. The main method can be written as public static void main or static public void main. They are only the access and non-access specifiers, so they can be written, public and static can be written in any of the order. But whereas void, main, and the parameters, they should be written in the same order. Return type, void is a return type, main is the name of the method, and string is a string A, that is an array, that is a parameter. So we should not change the order of return type, method name, and the parameter, as that is the syntax of defining the method. Class A, can I save the above class as b.java? Yes, this class can be saved with any name as I can save it as a.java, b.java, or I can save it with any name. Why? Because the class A is not public. The non-public classes can be saved with any name. The last question, public class A. Now, can I save this as b.java? No. Public class A cannot be saved with b.java. It has to be saved and must to be saved as a.java only. The public classes must be saved with the class name only. That is, the file name and the public class name must be same. If you save it with b.java, your compiler will raise you an error saying that class A is public, should have a.java as a class name. So remember, non-public classes can be saved with any name, but whereas public classes should have the same file name as the class name. Thank you for watching. And this is your slide which tells you the difference between heap memory and stack memory. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any queries or any doubts, you can mail us at codebaeprogramming@gmail.com.